Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 200th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Now for our 200th battle, I was looking around for something a little bit different, and I know a lot of the viewers like to see some of our old vintage battles, our old vintage RTW battles here. So this is a battle that was fought between 7 and 8 years ago. I think RTW veterans will recognise the players in this game. So it'll bring back a little bit of nostalgia, hopefully, and I think newer players will enjoy seeing how we used to fight all those years ago. Okay, so the team today consists of Brotherhood member Spearman. I'd just like to draw your attention to his army. If you notice, he's bought 3 archer units there. 7 to 8 years ago, bringing archer units was a normal kind of thing we used to do with our 31k army. Today you don't see many archer units being bought on a normal basis to a 31k battlefield, but back in those days, bringing archers was kind of a standard thing we used to do. And then we have Wolves Slayer. Now Wolves was a really great clan of its day. Unfortunately I don't see any Wolves playing RTW much now. If you notice, he's bought 2 archers as well. And if we look a little bit closer at Wolf Slayer's army, I remember that he used to bring these units as his pilot shield unit, the Hastati. They're only kind of a light infantry, but they can soak up pilots the same as any other unit, and he used to use those as his pilot shield units there. As I say, you can see he's bought 2 archers units too. And then we have Timid Rookie Bujin, better known to you as Brotherhood member TR. Now this goes to show how old this game is. TR has been a Brotherhood member for over 7 years now, so this is pre him being in the Brotherhood there. And if you notice, he's bought 2 archer units as well. As I said, those years ago, bringing archer units was kind of the standard thing that we used to do. And then the final team member is Brotherhood member KENDY. Now KENDY has supplied this battle, so thanks very much for supplying the battle, KENDY. And as I say, this is 7 to 8 years ago, and this should be an interesting one for you to watch, and I hope it's one for you to remember. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Brotherhood member KENDY's army. Now, at first look, you might not notice anything different with the army, but on a closer inspection, you may well see something a bit different. And that is, if you notice that KENDY has bought 5 units of light cavalry. I think these are called the Equites cavalry. Fast-moving light light-moving cavalry there. Now, to show you how unusual this is, the Brotherhood had always been renowned for our big cavalry. We used to bring 6 heavy cavalry, and with well-coordinating, hard-hitting cavalry hits, we used to break enemy battle lines and usually go on to win. So having heavy cavalry was a very, very important part of our attacking arsenal in the Brotherhood. So when KENDY turned up with 5 light cavalry, I remember the conversation kind of stopped mid-flow, and typing to each other, and we all said, what the heck's going on here, bringing light cavalry, KENDY? But he thought he'd try this as a bit of an experiment. So as you say, he's bought 5 light cavalry, and as I say, this was a real shock to Brotherhood members here to see a Brotherhood member not bring heavy cavalry. As I said earlier, the heavy cavalry attacks, the Brotherhood was renowned for those, so not to bring heavy cavalry was a bit of a shock to the Brotherhood. But if you look closely at KENDY's infantry now, can you see he's got 8 banners above these infantry units? So he's got 2 experience stripes, gold attack and gold defense. So his infantry is incredibly tough, really, really tough. They'll probably be the toughest infantry in this battle here with those upgrades on. So bringing the light cavalry is really enabled him to upgrade his infantry. So during the course of the battle, it'll be interesting to see if this really well upgraded infantry make up for the lack of heavy cavalry, and it'll be interesting to see how this light cavalry does on the 31k battlefield. As I say, not bringing heavy cavalry was a real shock to the Brotherhood, as we'd always used to bring them. And here is the other team. We have Clan Kings Marcus. A lot of you will remember the Kings clan. A lot of RTW veterans will. A great clan full of really good players. And that was Marcus there with his Scipii army. And then we have Hell's Hooray, who has bought the Greek cities faction. Now, as you can see here, it looks to me like he's tried to make a word out there. I'm not exactly sure what that word is, but he's this is something that we used to do years ago. People used to make formations and very cleverly could make words out of the formations. You don't see that used very much these days, but some players were really good at making words out on using their army as a formation. And then we have King's Dock, who has bought the Rome SPQR faction. As you can see here, once again, he's bought 3 archer units. As I say, back in those days, bringing archer units was kind of just a normal thing to do. And if you notice, his pilot shield unit is a Principe unit. Once again, using different cheaper units as pilot shield units was quite a thing to do in those days. And then we have King's Member Cyborg, who has bought the SPQR faction there. So as you can see, you've got 3 kings and a Hell's clan team there. So this should be an interesting one for you to watch. Okay, looking at this very early stage of the battle here, you can see that Kendi has taken his light equite cavalry out to the left flank there. Now, he might not be doing anything immediate with those cavalry, but they're fast moving, and he's moved them out to that left flank. So that's going to trouble the enemy a little bit. That's something they're going to have to keep an eye on. Part of using fast moving light cavalry is to try and disrupt, try to worry the enemy team. So moving his fast moving cavalry out there will certainly do that. As you can see here, all of Kendy's team are the green Brutii. So when the battle actually starts, you'll be able to tell that all Kendy's team are green. And as you can see, the enemy team are the blue Scipii, the Greek cities, and the purple SPQR factions. As you can see here, straight away, King's Marcus and Hell's Hooray are moving forward, looking in an aggressive, attacking manner there. If you notice right at the back of the picture there, can you see that Kendy's moving his equite, fast-moving cavalry around towards the rear of the enemy? And make no mistake, the enemy will know that that cavalry is there, so they'll just be keeping an eye on him. But of course, while they're keeping an eye on his cavalry, they're not keeping their full attention on the front. Right, can you see these Hastati pilot shield units here in front of Slayer's army? Now, their defense is not very good, so even archer fire can kill them. But as I say, in a pilot soaking up exercise, those Hastati can soak up pilots the same as anybody else, and if they're a cheaper unit to use than urban cohorts, which they are, then why not use them to as kind of the pilot shield unit. Right, can you see Slayer's army there, cavalry unit there going into that unguarded archer, a couple of archer units there, took them both out. You can see the enemy SPQR cavalry are coming in to attack his cavalry unit there, but wisely he's moving that cavalry unit back after routing those 2 archer units. A nice surgical strike there by the by Slayer's Brutii cavalry unit there. Right, going back to the main battle here, you can see that the Greek cities army is now moving forward. Hell Hooray is moving forward with his Greek cities army in a very aggressive way. They would be having a lot of pilots thrown into them, or they would have already had a lot of pilots thrown into those Spartans. But remember, the Spartans have got 2 hit points, so they're less susceptible to missile fire than I think most units on the RTW battlefield. Right here you can see the exchange of pilots here. Marcus was renowned for his attacking. Right, let's just pause the game here for us to take stock of exactly what's happening. As you can see here, Marcus on the right flank is attacking, but at the rear here, can you see Kendy's light cavalry are doing a really fantastic job. Can you see how he's drawing away all those enemy heavy cavalry units here? Can you see all that heavy cavalry there are trying to chase away Kendy's light cavalry? Well, of course, while that heavy cavalry is trying to chase light cavalry that they'll never catch, at the front of the battle, where the infantry are grinding out a battle there, then that heavy cavalry is not able to help its own infantry. And if you notice here, can you see that Marcus's cavalry is some of those chasing the light cavalry away, but if you notice his infantry is attacking, and can you see all the Brutii cavalry here lined up? Now, Marcus hasn't got his cavalry to back up his infantry. He's got some light Greek cities cavalry behind him, but they would be no match for heavy Roman cavalry if they decide to charge. As you can see here, Marcus and the Greek city armies are both attacking in coordination there. And if you notice here that Slayer, Kendi and Spearman, plus the 2 other King's members on the other flank there, have not engaged yet. So as you can see, the main battle is kicked off here on the right flank. But as I say, I'll be very worried for Marcus' Scipii army there, seeing all that green cavalry in front of him and none of his own cavalry to kind of counter any cavalry attack. So if that Brutii cavalry hits, there's nothing to kind of counter-attack it cavalry-wise. And if you notice that the if you like, the green team has spotted that and have charged their cavalry in a massive cavalry attack there. Okay, there's a couple of Greek city units have moved over, but if those Brutii cavalry surgically strike those Scipii infantry, then they're not going to be bothered by that those couple of Spartan units there. And if you notice, there are a heck of a lot of Marcus' Scipii army there was routed by that big cavalry hit. Let's say when Kendi bought those light cavalry, it would be interesting to see how well they did, and drawing away that heavy cavalry was a nice move. Can you see more cavalry attacks going into Marcus' engaged infantry there in front of his Greek city allies? Right, if you notice that the SBQR and Scipii cavalry are now making a return over to this right flank, but I think a lot of the damage has been done to Marcus's Scipii army there. Also, if you look closely, can you see that Marcus' Scipii general is in the front fighting there, in the front line fighting? And of course, if the general gets killed, then the morale of his troops would drop enormously. Right, can you see King Marcus now is charging in with his cavalry? I think he's just engaged an infantry unit there now, and it wouldn't surprise me if all... Yep, and there's a Brutii cavalry now counter-attacking Marcus's cavalry there. So if you just look at the numbers of the Brutii cavalry going in there into that Scipii cavalry there, it's just outnumbered there. And now if that Brutii cavalry press on round that flank, they may even be able to get in behind the enemy troops on this right flank. Right, let's just pause again for a second. As you can see here, the green Brutii team there has smashed through on that right flank and have basically destroyed most of Marcus's cavalry and infantry on that right, and are kind of moving round to the rear of the engaged Greek cities troops there with their cavalry. So on the right here, things seem to be going quite well for the Brutii team here. You see there's a lot of infantry pinning going on there where the cavalry gets behind, probably looking for a hammer and anvil attack here. Right, can you see that Kendi's light cavalry, those equites, have been drawing enemy heavy cavalry away from the front line again, keeps drawing them away. So that's a really good tactical move there with that light cavalry. And meanwhile over here on the left flank you can see neither I think Kendi or Spear are actually engaged with the enemy yet. So over on that left flank it's still pretty quiet, but as you can see over here on the right flank, the enemy team seem to have taken a bit of a battering here on this right flank.
The enemy general is slain, and now his men.
And I think that was Marcus's general just been killed there. So any remaining Scipii forces that are left, their morale will now drop considerably with the general dead. So over here on the right flank, it looks like as I said, the Brutii team have done extremely well. Let's say there's Kendi's light cavalry, those equites still at the back, still hitting enemy archery units. Any, if you like, soft targets, those light cavalry can hit. They're, as I said, fast moving. As you've seen all game, they've been running away from heavy enemy cavalry trying to capture them, trying to kill them. So bringing that light cavalry seems to have done quite well really for Kendi. As I say, it was such a shock to see him bring light cavalry when he started to bring armies with light cavalry in. So it was good to see how well he actually did with them there. I say Kendi is the longest serving most continuous member of the Brotherhood clan there. Unfortunately he doesn't play anymore, but he runs the Brotherhood website. Does a very good job there. Okay, let's pause again for us to take stock of the situation. As you can see here, the Brutii army on the right flank is doing extremely well. There's a few Greek city units left here. You can see that the enemy SBQR general there has laid some units on there to try and shore up his flank there as he's seen what's actually happened. Right now, as you see here, this is one of the, I suppose, drawbacks of having light cavalry. If they are actually caught by heavy infantry, because they're only light cavalry, they're going to break really quick. And it looks here like a lot of Kendy's units actually got caught there. He probably just took his eye off the ball just for a moment as he was concentrating on another part of the battlefield, and that heavy cavalry slammed into his light cavalry. So most of his light cavalry now has been routed, but they did extremely well at drawing away enemy heavy cavalry and hitting soft targets at the rear of the enemy team there. Let's see here. You can see that the enemy Brutii army here, all the armies lined up there, ready to advance onto the what's left of the enemy team. I think the two enemy SBQR enemy generals there have got almost intact armies there. So it'd be interesting to see how well they can hold against the Brutii attack there. As you can see there, the enemy SBQR armies there are forming up into a little bit of a defensive formation there, awaiting the attack from the enemy Brutii armies there that are gradually, I think, probably getting ready to attack. If you notice over here on this left flank here, you can see that the SBQR general sent in a cavalry hit there when he pulled his infantry back. Now he may well have sent that cavalry in just to try and hold up that Brutii infantry as his ally withdrew their infantry there. That could have been a nice tactical move there to stop the Brutii army like kind of falling upon them as they were pulling back. So if that's the case of what happened there, it was a nice little tactical move. There's an overall view of the battlefield there. I think if I was a Greek cities general there, I would probably get what's left of my army in behind my SBQR allies infantry there. Get them in behind there, form them up, give them a rest, and then you can use them on any part of the battlefield that you're needed. But I think leaving them out in front of his SBQR infantry might be a bit of a problem there for the Greek cities general. Meanwhile, over here you can see that the Kendy's Brutii army there are looking to attack the SBQR army in front of him. As you can see, the forward units of the SBQR army are now formed up into testudo. Remember, we've seen testudo units in other battles there with an all-round defense. Pretty difficult to break, and it also gives them some good protection against pilot hits too. So that's a nice little defensive formation set up there by the SBQR armies there. Lots of pilot exchanges going on there between the two armies. And if you notice all over the battlefield, there's archers firing a lot of the time, a lot of fire arrows being shot into the enemy there. As I say, very often you don't get archer units being brought to the 31k battlefield these days, but actually if they're used correctly, they can be quite effective, especially using fire archers, which of course, as we know, not just causes casualties, but actually lowers morale of enemy troops as well. Here you can see Kendy's doing a flat-out attack on the enemy SPQR battle line there. If you notice, he's brought another line of infantry just in behind his engaged infantry there, ready to throw in if necessary. And if you notice, he's bringing his general over there closer to the fray as well. And of course, he's doing that to give his infantry the general morale boost there. Nice little move there by Kendi. As you can see here, Wolves Slayer is moving some of his units around here, probably looking to do a right flanking action here, looking at what he's doing there, and bringing. And there's also cavalry being brought over there as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were looking to do a right flanking action here. If you notice that the SBQR general brought some of his infantry out to try and counter that move there. And if you notice that SBQR infantry is getting hit hard. But if you notice the cavalry that charged in, and the Brutii cavalry that charged in there, kind of stayed in there a bit too long. And as I said in other battle videos, if you leave your cavalry fighting against enemy infantry too long, then 99% of the time the cavalry will lose that part of the battle there. Right, if you notice that TR has brought his Brutii cavalry out to this flank now, probably with a view to charge in when he feels ready, or he may even tend to move his cavalry off to another place on the battlefield that he feels is more advantageous to his cavalry. As you can see here, some of the SBQR infantry is being pulled back out of the fray to set up another battle line. But in the middle here, you can see that Kendy's army is really pressing on the enemy SBQR infantry there. And you can't help thinking that one big cavalry hit could cause a breaking of their line there. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. As you can see here, looking at the battle from this direction on the right flank here, you can see the Brutii army are attacking quite aggressively and making inroads into the enemy SBQR army there. As Kendy's army attacking, as I say, he's got his general very close to his engaged troops, giving the general morale bonus there. And as you can see, Spearman, Brotherhood member Spearman, is also behind there with some of his units attacking. And over here, looking on this flank, over this side here, you can see that TR is also trying to flank in action there. So if you look on both sides of the enemy team there, you can see that the Brutii troops are trying to make flanking attacks, as well as really hammering the centre battle line of the enemy SBQR infantry there. As I say, looking at the battle there, it wouldn't surprise me if one big cavalry hit from the Brutii cavalry there could probably smash a hole through that SBQR line if it hits in the right place. As I say, you notice that TR has moved his cavalry back from that flank over to the centre there, so he may well have spotted a target for his cavalry. Meanwhile, here you can see that the SBQR cavalry have attacked some of the Brutii units that are here on this flank. Nice aggressive attack in there by the SBQR cavalry. Right, if you notice, can you see the Brutii cavalry now? TR's Brutii cavalry are charging in. He must have spotted something there for him to charge his cavalry in there and move his cavalry in from that flank. There you are, he's charged in, routed a couple of the SBQR units, and it wouldn't surprise me if he pulls his cavalry straight back out. There you go. Remember what we've talked about? You charge your cavalry in, you get the full cavalry charge bonus, and then you pull your cavalry out. You don't hang around there fighting infantry. Meanwhile, over here on the right flank, you see the SBQR cavalry are attacking aggressively here against the Brutii units here on this right flank. Nice attacking, if you like, attacking defensive, if you see what I mean, strategy here by the SBQR army. Not only have they taken up a defensive formation, but also they're trying to attack with their cavalry as well. So remember that old saying, attack is the best defense, and I think they're trying to get the best of both worlds there, with defending with their infantry defensive line and hitting with their cavalry. Nice moves there by the SBQR generals. Let's say we've paused the game here for us to take stock of exactly what's happening. Can you see these archers here are firing fire arrows all the time? Now if you notice, they're firing those fire arrows aimed in to that SBQR cavalry there. So not only are they causing casualties to that SBQR cavalry, but like we said earlier, they're actually lowering the morale of the SBQR cavalry, maybe making them more susceptible to routing. Right, if you notice that the SBQR cavalry are lined up to kind of counter that Brutii cavalry that are facing them here on this right flank, but all the time that SBQR cavalry is going to get hit by those fire arrows. If you notice those fire arrows coming over hitting that cavalry. Right, now look at the angle that TR has charged his cavalry in there. He could hit that unit on the side if he went in with his cavalry. It wouldn't surprise me if he started to rout a lot of that SPQR army there with that hit. Nice little surgical hit there, but if you notice, he went in, did the damage, and exactly what we said earlier, did what he wanted to do, and then pulled his cavalry back. He got the full cavalry charge bonus and pulled his cavalry back there. Reform them, ready to charge in when he wants to again. You see, he's charging some of his cavalry units in again. And bang, as that cavalry hits. Right, can you see a lot of the enemy SPQR infantry are now routing on this flank there due to that nice surgical cavalry hit there, on top of the pressure they were facing from the massive infantry attack they were having too. So that was a nice little move there on that flank there by TR's nice surgical strike there with his cavalry, and the pressure of all that Brutii infantry attacking it all caused a rout here on this flank. If you notice now, a lot of the SPQR units are starting to rout now. If you notice that their general routed as well a little bit earlier, so like we said before, the morale of those SPQR troops will now drop, and we've now got cavalry kind of in behind the engaged enemy infantry now. Right, let's just pause the game for a second to say we've got infantry in behind the engaged enemy. We've got cavalry in behind the engaged enemy infantry now. You can see here there's a few SPQR units still fighting on this flank, but the vast majority have routed. You see KENDY and Spearmen have kept up that massive attack in the centre there all the way through, putting loads and loads of pressure on the SPQR battle line there. And with that dense Brutii infantry attacking that SPQR infantry there, it wouldn't surprise me if they broke through. If you notice the Greek cities, there's only a few of the Greek city units left on that left flank facing the Brutii infantry there. So there's a general overview of the battle as it stands at this time. If you notice over there on that one flank there, can you see that TR has done a very good strategic move there? He's kind of bypassed those Greek city units and moved his infantry in behind the SPQR main battle line. Now that may be enough to cause the morale of those SPQR troops to drop, and after the sustained fighting they've been doing all the way through the battle, and you might find that the SPQR line all of a sudden breaks. There you go. You see, those SPQR troops knew that they were being surrounded by the enemy Brutii army there, and because they'd already sustained heavy casualties, the morale was already low. That was kind of the final straw there, and the rest of the SPQR units have broken there. I thought King's Cyborg and King's Dock over on that flank did extremely well for holding as long as they did after the initial casualties of their Greek city and Scipii allies. Basically their armies were mostly taken out there, so I think those two did extremely well. You can see there's one unit left. King Dock's got some archery units left there, but I think that may be the last of the enemy units left there. So the Brutii team has gone on to win there, so it's really great battle there. As you can see, it's quite a large battlefield here, right from this flank here, where you can see a lot of dead, all the way through from left to right here. There was intense fighting all the way along the battlefield. As I say, in some battles that you see, there's like big clumps of dead and then gaps between them. But on this particular battlefield, you can see that there's dead all the way down the whole battle line. So it just goes to show how intense the fighting was from left to right there. As you can see, the Brutii army now are moving over towards that last enemy SPQR unit that's left there.
All Rome will be amazed at such a victory. The day
and that looks like the Brutii team has actually gone on and won the battle there. Right, the first thing I'd like to say is really well done to everybody in the game. It was a nice battle. As I say, this battle was fought between 7 and 8 years ago, and as I said, RTW veterans watching this will recognise a lot of the names there. Unfortunately, Spearman, Slayer, Hooray, King Dock, King Cyborg, I don't think they play anymore, but they were great players of their day there. Just like to say, really well done to Slayer, Wolves Slayer there. Can you see 1,781 kills? Very nice. As I say, new players that might be watching this, Wolves were a great clan of their time. Lots of really good players. Unfortunately, we don't see them. We don't see them on the RTW battlefield much these days, if not at all. I thought we'd just have a look at the kills here. Now, if you remember, I just wanted to have a look at Kendy's Equite cavalry there. Let's just move down there. We can tell where his army is. He'll have the equity. There you go. You see he's got his 5 equity cavalry there. Equites cavalry. And if you look at the kills that they got, for a fast-moving light cavalry, they didn't do too badly, really. And remember how cheap they are in comparison to Praetorian heavy cavalry. But if you notice then, do you remember we saw the great upgrades on his infantry? And look at the kills that his infantry got there. Some really good kills, like 134, 123. So he's got some really good kills with his infantry there. So maybe using that light cavalry and giving his infantry so many more upgrades really seemed to work for this particular battle. They say you don't see light cavalry brought to the RTW battlefield much these days, especially Roman light cavalry. So that was quite interesting to see. Let's have a look at some of the other Roman kills here. As you can see, the archers there. Not bad kills, let's see. I know not many of us bring archers to the battlefield, but look at that, 99, only 23, but then 80. So that's not bad kills for to bring archers to the to 31k battlefield. As I say, in those days, bringing archers was kind of a normal thing to do. So as I say, this battle was fought between 7 and 8 years ago. I hope you've enjoyed it. I thought for our 200th, I'd do something a little bit different here, because I know a lot of you like to see some of the older battles, and I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, RTW veterans will recognise names here they haven't seen for years, and I hope newer players to RTW see how we fought that long time ago. It's Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed the battle. If you did, please subscribe to our channel, and bye for now.